Raina-Taekook Fanfiction. When the Alpha and the Omega crossed the forbidden rules. Taehyung stared at the sleek website on his laptop screen, his cursor hovering over the book consultation button. Heatwave services, professional, discreet, safe. The tagline promised everything he needed, yet his finger hesitated. He'd sworn he'd never do this. Never hire an alpha for his heats. But after his last heat had left him writhing alone in agony for 3 days, unable to work, barely able to function, he'd finally admitted defeat. His suppressants weren't working anymore, and he refused to bond with just anyone out of desperation. This was practical, professional, a business transaction, nothing more. He clicked the button before he could overthink it further. The consultation call came 2 days later. A friendly beta woman named Jisoo walked him through the process with the efficiency of someone who'd done this 1,000 times. "We have several alphas available who match your preferences," she said, her voice warm but professional. "All are extensively vetted, tested regularly, and trained in heat management and aftercare. Do you have any specific requirements?" Taehyung felt his cheeks burn despite being alone in his apartment. "Someone patient. This is my first time using a service like this." "Of course. Let me recommend a few profiles for you to review." His email pinged an hour later with 3 detailed profiles. The first 2 looked impressive, experienced alphas with dozens of 5-star reviews and years in the business. Safe choices. Logical choices. Then there was the third profile. Jungkook, 26 Alpha, Prime, experience. New to service, certified and trained, specialization. First-time clients, anxiety management, aftercare rating. No reviews yet. The photo showed a young man with dark hair, intense eyes, and a serious expression that somehow managed to be both professional and devastating. He was attractive, almost unfairly so, but something in his gaze suggested depth, genuine care rather than practiced charm. Taehyung read the brief bio. Recently certified heat partner specialist with extensive training in Omega care and heat management. While new to professional services, I'm committed to providing compassionate, attentive care with a focus on safety and comfort. I understand the trust required for this process and promise to treat every client with the utmost respect and dedication. There were no reviews. No testimonials. Nothing to prove he was good at this job. Every logical part of Taehyung's brain said to choose one of the experienced alphas. But something about Jungkook's photo, about the earnestness in those eyes, about the fact that he was honest about being new rather than trying to hide it, it spoke to Taehyung. Maybe because Taehyung was new to this too. Maybe they could figure it out together. Before he could overthink it, Taehyung clicked the booking button next to Jungkook's name. Jisoo called him back within an hour. "I see you selected Jungkook. I should mention, he's very new to our service. Literally just finished his certification last week. If you'd prefer someone more experienced." "No," Taehyung interrupted. "I want to give him a chance. Everyone has to start somewhere, right?" "That's very kind of you." Jisoo sounded genuinely pleased. "He's been extensively trained and vetted, I promise. And sometimes new partners can be even more attentive because they're so focused on doing everything perfectly. I think you two might be a good match." Taehyung hoped she was right. They met for coffee first, protocol Jisoo had explained, so both parties could establish comfort and boundaries before signing the contract. Taehyung arrived 15 minutes early, anxiety thrumming through his veins, and ordered a chamomile tea he didn't drink. Taehyung? He looked up, and every thought in his head scattered like leaves in the wind. The photo hadn't done Jungkook justice. Not even close. In person he was devastating, broader in the shoulders, taller than Taehyung expected. Moving with a natural grace that immediately marked him as a prime alpha. But it was more than just his looks. The moment Jungkook entered the coffee shop, Taehyung's Omega instincts had gone haywire, responding to an alpha presence so powerful it was almost overwhelming. Jungkook's scent hit him next, cedar and something wild, something clean and fundamentally alpha that made Taehyung's mouth go dry. This wasn't the artificial confidence of an alpha trying too hard. This was natural, effortless dominance that Jungkook didn't even seem fully aware of. "Hi," Taehyung managed, half standing on shaky legs before sitting back down hard. His Omega was practically purring, wanting to lean closer, to submit, to bare his throat, and they'd only just met. "Yes, that's me." Jungkook's expression was nervous, almost shy, which seemed at odds with the commanding presence he radiated. "Nice to meet you. Well, you know who I am." He smiled, and it was uncertain, almost vulnerable. "Can I get you anything? You haven't touched your tea." "I'm sorry, you're probably nervous because I'm new at this and don't have any reviews yet." "No," Taehyung interrupted, his Omega responding to the anxiety in Jungkook's voice with a need to comfort. "I'm nervous for my own reasons." You're fine. More than fine." Jungkook's cheeks colored slightly, and Taehyung was charmed by the contrast. This powerful alpha who seemed almost bashful about his first real client. "Let me grab a coffee," Jungkook said. "I'll be right back." Taehyung watched him walk to the counter, trying to calm his racing heart. Jungkook's alpha aura was incredible. Not aggressive or overbearing, but solid, protective, the kind of presence that made Omegas instinctively feel safe. No wonder he'd been certified despite being brand new. That kind of natural energy couldn't be taught. When Jungkook returned and sat down across from him, maintaining a respectful distance despite the clear pull between them, Taehyung had to fight the urge to move closer. "So," Jungkook started, and Taehyung could see him visibly collecting himself, trying to be professional. "Jisoo said this is your first time working with a heat partner service?" Taehyung nodded, gripping his cup. "I've always managed on my own before, but my suppressants are becoming less effective, and my last heat was difficult." "That's really common," Jungkook said, and his voice had dropped into that low alpha register that made Taehyung's Omega preen. Jungkook cleared his throat, seeming to catch himself. "Sorry, suppressants lose effectiveness over time. And trying to endure heat alone can be dangerous." "You don't have to apologize," Taehyung said softly. "Your alpha voice it's actually calming. Reassuring." Jungkook's eyes widened slightly. "Really? I was worried it might be too much. I'm still learning to control it in professional settings. My instructor said I have a particularly strong alpha presence and I need to be careful not to overwhelm clients." "You're not overwhelming me," Taehyung assured him, even though it was somewhat a lie. Jungkook was overwhelming, but in the best possible way. It actually makes me feel safe. Something warm flickered in Jungkook's dark eyes. Good. That's really good to hear. He pulled out a tablet, his hands slightly unsteady. I should be upfront with you. You're my first official client. I did practice sessions during my training, but this is my first real assignment. If you want to switch to someone more experienced, I completely understand. I chose you, Taehyung interrupted firmly. I read your profile. I saw you were new. And I still chose you. Why? The question came out raw, honest. The other alphas on the roster have years of experience, perfect reviews. Because something told me you were the right choice, Taehyung said simply. And honestly, your alpha presence is unlike anything I've ever encountered. If you can make me feel this safe just sitting across from you in a coffee shop, I trust you'll take care of me during my heat. Jungkook's breath caught, his eyes darkening with something that wasn't quite professional. He seemed to shake himself. Thank you for giving me this chance. I promise I'll do everything I can to make sure you're comfortable and safe. I might not have experience with clients yet, but I've trained extensively. I know what to do. I believe you, Taehyung said, and he meant it. They spent the next hour and a half discussing details that made Taehyung blush but that Jungkook treated with careful professionalism. Though Taehyung noticed the way Jungkook's hands gripped the tablet a little tighter when discussing certain aspects, the way his jaw clenched when Taehyung mentioned he'd never been nodded before. Your heat is projected for next week? Jungkook confirmed, his voice slightly strained. Thursday or Friday, based on my tracking. Okay. I'll clear my schedule from Wednesday through the following Tuesday. Jungkook looked up from his notes, meeting Taehyung's eyes. I want you to know, even though I'm new to this professionally, I'm going to give you everything I have. Your comfort, your safety, your needs, they're my only priority. I won't let you down. The fierce determination in his voice, combined with that overwhelming alpha presence, made Taehyung's omega purr with satisfaction. I know you won't, Taehyung whispered. The air between them felt charged, heavy with something neither of them should be feeling at a first consultation meeting. Jungkook seemed to realize it at the same time, clearing his throat and looking back at his tablet. We should go over the contract details, he said, but his voice was rougher than before. They signed the contract over email that evening. It was official, professional, temporary. But as Taehyung lay in bed that night, he couldn't stop thinking about Jungkook's alpha presence, the way it had called to his omega on a primal level. He'd given a brand new heat partner a chance based on instinct. He just hoped his instincts were right. Jungkook arrived at Taehyung's apartment Wednesday evening with a duffel bag and an expression that was equal parts nervous and determined. The moment Taehyung opened the door and that powerful alpha presence washed over him again, his knees went weak. Hey, Jungkook greeted, his smile a little uncertain. How are you feeling? Anxious, Taehyung admitted, stepping aside to let him in. He watched Jungkook take in the space, his first real client, his first real heat assignment. And warm. I think it might start sooner than expected. Jungkook immediately focused on him, those dark eyes assessing with an intensity that made Taehyung shiver. Even nervous, Jungkook's alpha instincts were clearly kicking in, responding to an omega in preheat. You're flushed. Have you been drinking water? Some. Let's get you hydrated first. Jungkook's voice had dropped into that alpha register without him seeming to realize it, and Taehyung's Omega responded immediately, wanting to obey, wanting to please. Jungkook caught himself, clearing his throat. Sorry, I'm trying to be careful with the alpha voice thing, but your preheat scent is really strong and my instincts are. He broke off, looking embarrassed. It's okay, Taehyung assured him softly. I like it. Makes me feel safe. Protected. Something fierce and possessive flashed in Jungkook's eyes before he controlled it. Can you show me where you've set up for your heat? Taehyung led him to the bedroom, where he'd prepared blankets, pillows, everything soft he owned piled on the bed in an instinctive nest. He felt embarrassed showing Jungkook, but the alpha just stared at it with something like awe. Taehyung, this is a really beautiful nest. Jungkook's voice was reverent. Can I add my scent to it? It'll help comfort your Omega when the heat starts. They taught us in training. But I want to make sure you're comfortable with it first. Taehyung's breath hitched. Scenting the nest was intimate even in a professional context. But he nodded, watching as Jungkook carefully removed his jacket with slightly trembling hands. Nervous, Taehyung realized. He was nervous too. Jungkook draped his jacket over the pillows, then rubbed his wrists along some of the blankets with careful, deliberate movements. The scent that rose up, cedar and something wild and clean, pure alpha, made Taehyung's knees buckle. He had to grip the door frame to stay upright. Jungkook was immediately at his side, steadying him with hands on his waist. The touch sent electricity through Taehyung's body. Whoa, I've got you. Is it too much? I can tone it down? No, Taehyung gasped. No, it's perfect. Your scent is just really powerful. My instructors warned me about that, Jungkook said, still holding him steady, his hands warm and solid. They said I have an unusually strong alpha scent and presence. That I need to be careful not to overwhelm Omegas, especially in preheat. I'm sorry. Don't apologize. Taehyung looked up at him, their faces inches apart. I chose you because of that presence. Because something in me knew you were what I needed. Jungkook's pupils dilated, his grip tightening fractionally on Taehyung's waist. Taehyung, he breathed. And the way he said it, like a prayer, like something precious, made Taehyung's heart race. They stood like that for a long moment, the air thick between them, before Jungkook seemed to remember himself and stepped back, professional distance reasserting itself. I brought supplies, Jungkook said, his voice slightly unsteady. Energy drinks, protein bars, medical kit, extra blankets. I'll set up in the living room until you need me. I want you to rest, try to eat something light. And let me know immediately if you start feeling the heat coming on. Okay. You're staying in the living room? Unless you need me sooner. I know I'm supposed to maintain some professional distance until the heat actually starts, but... Jungkook ran a hand through his hair, looking uncertain. Honestly, I'm just trying to follow what they taught me in training. This is all new to me too. Taehyung found his nervousness endearing. We'll figure it out together, he said softly. Together, Jungkook echoed, and his smile was so warm, so genuine, that Taehyung felt his last reservations melt away. That night, Taehyung lay in his newly scented nest, hyper-aware of the alpha in his living room. He could hear Jungkook moving around quietly, could smell him even from here, and his body was responding in ways that both terrified and thrilled him. Jungkook was new at this, untested with real clients. But somehow that made Taehyung trust him even more. There was no jaded professionalism, no routine. Just a powerful alpha trying his best to take care of his first Omega client, treating it with the seriousness and care it deserved. Around 2 a.m., Taehyung woke up drenched in sweat, a deep ache low in his belly, his skin hypersensitive. His heat had started. "Jungkook," he called out, his voice already thready with need. The alpha appeared in his doorway within seconds, alert and immediately focused. Despite his inexperience, his alpha instincts clearly knew exactly what was happening. "I'm here. Tell me what you need." "It's starting," Taehyung whimpered, curling into himself. "It hurts." Jungkook approached the bed slowly, and Taehyung could see him visibly controlling his alpha response to an Omega in heat. The clenched jaw, the tension in his shoulders, the way his hands flexed at his sides. "Can I touch you? I can help ease the pain. Please." The moment Jungkook's hand touched his forehead, brushing back sweat-dampened hair with infinite gentleness, Taehyung felt some of the ache subside. Alpha touch, alpha presence. His Omega instincts sang with relief. "There you go," Jungkook murmured, his voice dropping into that powerful alpha register that vibrated through Taehyung's chest. "I've got you. You're safe. I'm going to take care of you. Need." Taehyung couldn't finish the sentence, but Jungkook seemed to understand. "I know what you need." Jungkook's hand traced down to cup Taehyung's cheek, and Taehyung could see the fierce protectiveness in his eyes, the determination. "This is my first time doing this for real, but I promise you, I'm going to do everything I can to make this good for you. We're going to go slow, okay? Even in heat, we're going to take care of you properly." The first wave hit hard. Taehyung's skin felt like it was on fire. Every nerve ending screaming for contact, for an alpha's touch, for relief from the overwhelming need consuming him. Jungkook was there, solid and calm, guiding Taehyung through it with steady hands and a soothing voice. "Breathe, Taehyung. That's it. I'm right here." "Please," Taehyung gasped, clutching at Jungkook's shirt. "Please, I need." "I know." Jungkook's hands were already removing Taehyung's sweat-soaked clothes with efficient gentleness. "I'm going to take care of you. But first let me see you. Let me make sure you're ready." Even through the haze of heat, Taehyung appreciated the care, the way Jungkook checked him over, the way he prepared everything properly despite Taehyung's whimpered protests that it was taking too long. "Alpha," Taehyung moaned, the title slipping out unbidden, and Jungkook's eyes darkened. "Say that again," he commanded softly. "Alpha, please. Need you. Need you so badly." "You have me," Jungkook promised, positioning himself over Taehyung, his presence overwhelming and perfect. "You have all of me, Omega." The first touch was electric. Taehyung arched off the bed, a cry tearing from his throat as Jungkook's hands mapped his body with reverent attention. Every touch seemed designed to drive him mad, to build the pleasure higher and higher. "So beautiful," Jungkook murmured against his skin, lips tracing paths of fire along Taehyung's throat. "So perfect. Respond so well for me." "More," Taehyung demanded, nails raking down Jungkook's back. "Need more, Alpha." Jungkook growled, an actual alpha growl that made Taehyung's Omega instinct sing, and gave him more. His touch became more demanding, more possessive, playing Taehyung's body like an instrument he'd mastered. "That's it," Jungkook praised as Taehyung writhed beneath him. "So good for me. So responsive. Tell me what you need." "You," Taehyung gasped. "Inside. Need you inside. Are you sure you're ready?" Even lost in the moment, Jungkook was still checking, still careful. "Yes. Please, Alpha, please." Jungkook had prepared him thoroughly, but the first press still made Taehyung gasp, his body stretching to accommodate the Alpha's size. It burned in the best way, that perfect edge between pleasure and pain that his heat-addled mind craved. "Breathe," Jungkook coached, holding still despite the tension Taehyung could feel thrumming through his body. "Let your body adjust. There's no rush." But there was. The heat demanded satisfaction, demanded completion. Taehyung rolled his hips impatiently, drawing Jungkook deeper, and the Alpha groaned. "Taehyung, if you keep doing that, then do something about it," Taehyung challenged, meeting those dark eyes with heat-glazed determination. Something shifted in Jungkook's expression, the professional mask cracking to reveal raw want beneath. "Hold on," he warned, and then he was moving. The pace he set was perfect, hard enough to satisfy the heat's demands but controlled enough not to hurt. Every hit exactly where Taehyung needed, drawing cries from his throat that would have embarrassed him if he had the capacity to care. "Alpha, Alpha, Alpha," he chanted, the word a prayer and a plea. "Right here," Jungkook growled against his ear. "Got you, Omega. Taking me so perfectly. Like you were made for this." The praise made Taehyung sensitive. "Close, I'm so close." "Come for me," Jungkook commanded, his hand wrapping around Taehyung with perfect pressure. "Wanna feel you fall apart." Taehyung shattered, whiting out his vision, his body convulsing as they tore through him. Through it all, Jungkook held him, praised him, worked him through it with skillful hands and murmured words. When Jungkook followed him over the edge moments later, Taehyung felt the knot beginning to form and panicked slightly. They'd discussed it, he'd consented, but the reality was overwhelming. "Easy," Jungkook soothed immediately, feeling the tension. "Relax for me. This is normal. This is good. I've got you." The knot locked them together, and Taehyung felt a completeness he'd never experienced, the heat finally satisfied. "For now. How are you feeling?" Jungkook asked softly, shifting them so Taehyung was cradled against his chest, the position more comfortable for the duration of the knot. "Good," Taehyung mumbled, exhaustion already pulling at him. "Really good." "You did so well," Jungkook praised, pressing kisses to his temple. "So brave and beautiful. Rest now. I'll watch over you." And Taehyung did, falling asleep to the steady beat of Jungkook's heart, feeling safer than he ever had in his life. To be continued. Hope you liked the first part. Part 2 coming soon. Don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching.